All right, peace, y'all. It's your girl, Nicole, Sister Midwife, and thank you for tuning in, for joining me for another live video. Today, I am coming to you after having a very lively, wonderful, important meeting on last Sunday. So Sunday that just passed, I hosted the first of what I pray will be many Birth Justice Coalition meetings. This is something new that I'm working to do here in New Orleans, and part of my journey, part of my goal, part of my vision is that we will have a coalition of individuals who will be able to really fight for birth justice and for better birth outcomes in our community. That said, last year, I, along with my sister Delise, started something called the Birth Story Project. And we started this because we knew that we needed to begin telling our stories, to begin sharing information, to begin bringing our truths and our understanding of our birth experiences, not only to the women in our circle, but also using it as an avenue to bring our stories to women outside of New Orleans. And for me, I was hoping for an opportunity to gather stories from local women that would allow me to have the information that I needed to go into the hospital and demand a certain level of change. So basically, we have the circles. It's a beautiful experience. Women come, they share their stories, and every single month we have different experiences. We learn new things, we share new things, and we hear new things. One of the things that has been most interesting to me is that not every time, but I noticed that a large majority of the women who come to the circles have a really decent birth experience, and they're excited to share it, and they're excited to talk about it, and they're excited to talk about their breastfeeding journey. And be very clear, this has not been every woman and not been every circle, but I feel like the majority has been that. Now, that is in stark contrast to the phone calls that I get regularly from women that I have trained, who call me up and say to me, Nicole, I need some help because I have a mom I'm working with and she's being forced into an induction. Or, Nicole, I need some help because I have a mom I'm working with and they're telling her that she has to drink the glucola. How does she get out of that? Or, you know, I just heard about this mom who suffered this consequence or that consequence. And so it's a nonstop getting phone calls on a weekly basis from women that I've trained and from women that I know in community who are sharing with me traumas, discontentment, miseries, and problems that they have encountered inside of the medical obstetrical system here in the city. So part of why I started the circles was to bring those stories to light. And one of my goals with bringing these stories to light, again, was to use them to be able to go into facilities to advocate for change. But what I am finding is that the women with the stories, the women who have been mistreated, who have been traumatized, they haven't been coming to the circle. So bring it back to Sunday. Sunday, I had a Birth Justice Coalition meeting, and most of the women who came to the meeting were birth workers, doulas, some of which I've trained, some of which I've not trained, but certainly people who are in this work and who understand the power, the importance, and the need to have birth justice happening in our communities. But one of the women, so special, so grateful for her to come to the meeting on Sunday. She was a mom. She was a mom of two. And I didn't get a chance to really get her birth story at the time in the meeting. I invited her to come out to our next Sunday meeting, but I was expressing my frustration about how I feel like the majority of the women coming to the Birth Story Project are coming to share wonderful stories and I'm not getting the data, the words that I need, the quotes, you know, because see, when I go to the hospital and I start telling people about how they need to make change, I can't go with he said, she said, right? I need to be able to say quotes. We had a woman who came to our birth circle story and she said, quote, she was forced to do X, Y, and Z against her will, or quote, she felt dismissed, quote, she felt belittled, she felt mistreated. I need the quotes from the women in order to do some of this work that I'm trying to do. So as I'm sharing different stories, sharing some of the work that I'm doing, this mom, and I'm not going to say her name because I don't want to put her on blast, but if you're listening ever to this video, I so appreciate that you were there. She said she started crying. And she said, the reason we don't come and tell our stories is because it still hurts too bad. It's still too painful. It's still, she said, as you are sitting here right now talking, I am reliving my birth experiences. And I was like, right, mind blown, exactly. That's why y'all not coming, because y'all don't want to talk about the trauma. Y'all don't want to talk about the things that happen that continue to feel ugly inside. You don't want to talk about the things that still bring you to tears and still bring you pain. But my sisters, I'm telling you, we need you. We need your strength. We need you. We will surround you in love. And if you're not in New Orleans, man, find a circle, start a circle, make a circle. Because this is the thing that I know. If 2-3 years later, we are still weeping tears from our birth experience, even though we are able to do our job, because as someone said to me the other day, but you know I'm strong, right? Because we strong. We always so strong. We got to stop being so damn strong sometimes. So the reality is, if we are feeling so much pain that years later we are still crying about our birth experiences, there is going to be a disconnect between how we are able to parent and love our children, even at a microscopic small level. Y'all, we have got to tell these stories and heal, whether it is in a circle, whether it is one-on-one with other people. We have got to go through the process, whether you go get professional counseling, whatever you need to do to heal, because if your birth triggers you to a negative space, then that negative space is also triggered when you look at the child that created this experience. Now, be very clear, y'all. I'm not saying that you can't be a wonderful mother even though you had birth trauma. But I also know that when we have birth trauma and we have postpartum depression and we have experiences that disconnect us from ourselves and from our experiences, it will also disconnect us from the people that we love and the people that love us. So I beg of you, I ask you to please join me. If you're in New Orleans, every second Sunday through the end of the year, we will be having our Birth Story Project circles, and I want you to come. We will surround you with love. We have professional counselors available to be with you, to help you work through your process. You do not have to do this by yourself. But I know that if we continue to hold these things inside of us, we cannot heal, we cannot move, and we must heal in order to move our communities, our parenting, our mothering to another level. When we are depressed and despondent, can't get out the bed, crying all the time, that's going to impact our relationships, not just with our children, but with everybody, our jobs, everything. And I understand that it can be a very difficult thing. It can be difficult, but I want to encourage you to tell your story. Storytelling is a part of our history. We've always used storytelling to heal, to teach, to share. And believe me, when you come and you share a story, when you share your story with someone else, it relieves some things. When you cry, that's another thing that we do. We tell our story, we cry, and in the midst of the crying, we apologize for crying. Don't apologize for crying. It made you sad. It was traumatizing. It's difficult. Let that out. When you cry, you literally release stress hormones in the tears that drop from your eyes. You are releasing stress hormones. So sometimes we need to cry to get that out. We need to tell the stories. We need to heal, y'all. We need to heal. And in healing ourselves and in sharing our stories, we teach other people. We also give them an opportunity to heal. We help them know that their trauma was not the only trauma that you may have experienced too. And God bless you if you share a story that will actually stop another Black woman from being traumatized. So you tell your story of an unnecessary induction and how it ended in a traumatic cesarean section. And there's a woman in earshot who hears your story, who says, man, they're trying to force me into an induction. And now they have this bit of information. So now you're saving her. And that is how we change the vibration of our communities. One birth, one mama, one experience at a time. We got to do this together. We have to come together. We cannot do it alone. And so I'm going to wrap it up. I'm going to check for comments and see if there's any questions. But I really, really, really want to encourage you all to start a birth story sharing circle in your communities. If you are a doula in New Orleans and you have moms that you know have had traumatic experiences and they're reluctant to talk about it, please let these moms know that they can come out to our Birth Story Project. It is a space for Black moms only, but we have love in this space. We're going to feed you. We're going to have childcare available. We're going to have a wonderful experience, and we're going to give you an opportunity to share, to release, to heal. All of your healing may not happen, will not happen in that one circle. But if you come back again, or you use it as a jumping off pad to then move into professional counseling, maybe you realize, often in my doula trainings, and that's the reason why I think it's so important for people to go to a live doula training and to be in sister circle and sister love with other women. When you come to my doula training, there are very often experiences where we talk about birth trauma, we talk about infant mortality, we talk about domestic violence and things, and the women in my class are triggered, left and right, they're triggered. And it's like, man, we gotta get through these triggers. We have to get through them, because if we're constantly being triggered, it's gonna stop some of our journey, some of our work, some of our ability to heal and help others. So I'm gonna end on that. I wanna just encourage everybody to really, really, really know that this thing is real. Birth is the revolution, and we can heal our communities when we are willing to move forward and share and do these difficult things. It's not easy. We at war. War is not easy. Nobody said it was going to be easy. It's not easy for me right now. So I hesitated coming to this video, because as I was thinking about it, I was getting teary-eyed. I was like, oh man, I don't want to break down. Look at me. I don't want to break down crying on the video. But that happens sometimes, right? We will have trauma. And my birth workers, man, y'all know I talked about it in the post. I don't think I did a live. I did do a live about that 2-row article that came out, and it triggered me. I was crying for a day. I couldn't stop crying, because I still held birth trauma, not from my own personal birth, but from all of the birth trauma that I have witnessed. Our men have birth trauma from witnessing their partners be traumatized, their wives be traumatized in the birth room. Our grandmothers, our sisters, our aunties, we all got this birth trauma, y'all, because if you witnessed it, you are also experiencing the trauma. So come out to a birth story circle. If you're not in New Orleans, create a birth story circle. It's not that hard. All you need is a flyer and a location. It is not hard. Bring people together, create an open space, allow it to be safe for them to come and share what they need to share. Let's see, Rebecca Honeycutt. Let's see what's going on Facebook. Peace, Facebook. What is the best way to get the word out for a new circle starting? I just use, Rebecca, I just use social media. I actually also have some flyers that I have. I'm hoping to get out Essence Fest weekend and throw some flyers out, because I know that my people are going to be in the streets. So I'm trying to do that. But I think that it's just social media and sharing as much as possible. And one of my other goals is all of y'all that I trained in New Orleans, send your people to the meetings. Send your people to the Birth Story Project. On Facebook, it's real. Exactly. Thank you. Release your cortisol tears. Exactly. Release them, Tassie. Release them cortisol tears. It's going to come out. It's going to come out. Thank you. Right. Hey, everybody. So that's it. It's just a real quick live I wanted to do, because that sister, I felt so blessed, and I had to give her thanks for reminding me of that. She's like, we don't come because it's too hard. It's hard. War ain't easy. It's life or death out here, y'all. So at some point, we got to make it happen. That's it for me tonight. Peace.